Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we're going to do a bit more to the HG P407. I'm still waiting for the receiver and the steering servo, and I'm starting to think they've evaporated now, so I'm going to have to order up some more. You never know though, they might turn up by the time we start work on the next project. Here we go then, step 12, fitting the radio box to the chassis. It would be nice if it was just as simple as offering up the box to the chassis and installing the box with some screws. But first we need to check if the steering linkage is the right way round. It should lay along the top of the chassis with the bent bit roughly over the bent bit in the chassis rail. And of course the ball end should line up with the ball in the steering bell crank. The really tricky bit that makes this a bit more of a faff than it really needs to be is they've decided we need O-rings between the chassis and the posts. I can't really see them doing anything too useful other than allowing a little bit of extra flex in the chassis. We might end up removing them at some point, or I suppose we might end up replacing the whole radio box with something a bit more compact, but for now we're going to follow the instructions. I'd highly recommend doing this over a tray or something with sides, as getting the O-rings over the screws is easy enough, but when trying to line them up on the box it's all too easy to push one of the other screws out, dropping both the screw and the O-ring. It's also worth mentioning, because of the O-rings, you can't fully tighten the screws. They need to be loose enough that we don't squash the O-rings too much. That also means we don't want to go and tap the posts. Having the screws make their own threads will allow them to grip and not fall out when they're only partially done up. The last job for step 12 is to clip the ball ends into the balls. Access for the gear shift isn't ideal, but it's quite doable with a nice long pair of pliers. The steering is very easy to get at, which is nice. We're starting to see the classic Tamiya style steering slot now too. The linkage parts by themselves don't feel too bad, but the little bits of slop do add up with the servo saver, the bell crank, and all 6 of the ball ends. Moving the servo is definitely going to be one of the first chassis mods that we tackle. Step 13 next, and it's just a quick one, fitting the battery tray. There's not much to this, we just need the tray itself and 4 M3x6 screws. The tray sits on the front of the electronics box, and 4 screws go in through the 4 holes. Nip them up, and the tray is fitted. Interestingly, they show a round LiPo pack in the diagram with its balance lead, and underneath you can see rather than the Molex style Tamiya connector, they're using Dean's. Very nice. Okay, step 14 now, the front bumper and body mount. Unlike most of the rest of the kit, we're using silver screws for the bumper, which should look a bit nicer against the white plastic. We're going to need 6 M3x10s, 2 M3x6s, along with 2 black M3x6s for the body mount. For the parts, there's the front bumper, E10, along with the 2 mounts, E5 and 6. Then there's the body mount, which comes in a bag all by itself. Fitting the bumper should be very easy. We need to loosen the frontmost screw on the side of the chassis, which already has a washer under the head. The only thing to watch out for is that there's a flange nut on the inside which can fall out if you loosen the screw too far, and it's a bit of a fiddle getting our finger up in there to refit it. Now we can offer up the mount and lightly nip up the screw, just enough to stop it falling apart. So far, so good. Now we need to fit one of the M3x10s in through the front, which should be really very easy, but unfortunately the hole doesn't quite line up. It's a right pain, but if you take your time it can be done. It does need a bit of careful applied force though. The other mount is just as much of a faff to install, but it does go on if you fiddle around with it for long enough. Thankfully the bumper itself fits a treat, probably because the plastic's fairly soft, so it pulls into position without putting up too much of a fight. It's held on with 4 M3x10s, start with them all done up a couple of turns, then tighten them all down the rest of the way. The body mount is just a case of lining it up with a couple of holes on the top of the chassis rails and screwing in the 2 black screws. Nip them up and we've got the front end finished. Step 15, the rear bumper and body mount. We've got a couple of silver screws to mount the bumper, 2 M3x6s, 2 black M3x6s, and 2 body mounting posts with the very coarse self-tapping thread at one end. For the plastics, all we need is the rear body mount E2 and the rear bumper E11. First we'll fit the post to the rear body mount. Now there's a good bit of a lip around the holes that need to be trimmed flat with a sharp knife. We can also bevel the inside edge just a little bit to make the posts a bit easier to thread in. They're a fairly tight fit, so they need a good grip to do up. Just keep in mind that they don't need to be done up really all that tight. As long as they're nicely bottomed out, they're going to do the job. To fit the mount itself, we just line it up under the cross brace and fit the 2 black screws. They're M3 machine screws, so to make it easier you can always tap the holes first. The bumper is really easy to fit. We just offer it up to the rear of the chassis and fit the silver screws. Nip them up and the rear of the chassis is done. Okay, step 16, and we're fitting the wheels. Now, rather than using wheel nuts and hexes, these wheels are fitted with 3 M3x8 screws per wheel. Rather tedious to fit, but when the original version of these axles were designed, the 12mm hex and M4 nut really wasn't a thing, let alone a common standard. The wheels lock into the notches on the drive flange to transfer the power, and use the screws in the holes to keep the wheels on. Quite a nice setup, but you really don't want to have to take it apart while outside on a cold day. To fit, we just offer the wheel up to the flange and give the wheel a good wiggle until you can feel it drop into place. Then install the 3 screws. Fairly simple, but it does end up feeling nice and solid. When all 4 are on, we've got a rather tidy looking rolling chassis. We can't test it yet, as we're still waiting for the electronics, but there's still plenty more to do. The suspension feels more than a little stiff, but that's to be expected with the full set of leaf springs. It does work though, and it doesn't creak or moan, at least not yet. Once there's some dirt and grime in there, that's probably going to change. So that's it for this week. I think next time we're going to make a start on the body and see how far we get before we have the electronics ready to fit. I'm guessing we're probably going to have it all ready to go and still be waiting for the servo and receiver. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if there's something on your mind. Bye guys!